Welcome back, everyone. Another episode of Coffee with Commish. Just continue to share some information. World Baseball Classic that I find interesting, that I think could be valuable. Cuba against Panama coming in. Cuba 0-2, but odds makers are still expecting them to get the job done tonight. Minus 165 on the money line. Panama plus 140 on the money line. Let's just take a quick dive into some of this data, and then there's one really, really interesting spot that I think might be worth a small stab. I'll talk about it here in a minute. But starting with Cuba, I'll share my screen here. Again, relatively good success in this tournament. They were 15-11 coming in, so this 0-2 stretch is very abnormal for them. They've always managed to get into that second round, a little bit new. They are giving the ball to Ronald Balanos in this contest. Bolaños last year pitched in 8 games for the Kansas City Royals. We can pull up his fan graphs here as well, and we can take a look at what he did here. Big thing with Bolaños is, despite the fact that he's a major league pitcher, he really has not proven a whole lot at any highly competitive level. And what I mean by that is, you go look at what he did last year with the Royals, small sample size, but he had an ERA north of 4, expected stats even worse than that. Go look at what he did in AAA before he got called up last year. Also not very good. ERA north of 6, FIP north of 5 as well, suggesting that he was more bad than he was unlucky. Big reason for this, didn't throw the ball past a lot of guys last year. K percentage below 20%. He struggled with his command consistently throughout all of his stops in the minor leagues. For that reason, he ends up allowing a lot of traffic on the bases. Last year, you can see a 175 whip in a small sample size. In the big leagues, 185 whip, which is walks plus hits per inning pitched when he was in AAA. So not a huge fan of him to start the game tonight for Cuba. Another thing to note for this lineup for Cuba is the fact that these guys who are supposed to headline the bats in this one with Luis Robert Jr. and Yoan Moncada, 2 for 17 to start this tournament. They've left 11 guys on base. As a result, Cuba enters play in this contest on Thursday with the second worst OPS of any team in the tournament. The only team worse than them, China, who had to face Shohei Ohtani yesterday. Obviously a very difficult task, especially for a China team that just, relative to their peers in this tournament, doesn't have a ton of talent. But reasons to believe they can turn it around. We could go take a look. Luis Robert Jr., major splits in his MLB career to date. We'll go take a look at what he did last year. And what we see is, against left-handed pitching, he hit the crap out of the baseball. His runs created plus, 58% better than the league average MLB hitter. He had a 354 batting average, OPS over 900, power metrics. Everything was better against left-handed pitching, including the walk rate and the K percentage. Sees the ball a lot better out of lefties' hands. Same thing we see with Yoan Moncada last year. We can pull up his stats. This is a smaller sample size, and Moncada had not always been better against lefties than righties. But when we go look at what he did in 2022, we can see against lefties, better walk rate, better K rate, 241 batting average compared to a 204 batting average against righties. OPS substantially better, 788 against lefties, 582 against righties. The reason I bring this up, Bet365 has plus 195 for Cuba to score in the top of the first tonight. Robert Jr. and Moncada off to slow starts in this tournament. What do they get tonight? They get lefty Andy Otero on the mound for Panama. What have we seen? Otero in his minor league career, this is last year at AAA, really struggled against right-handed batters in AAA, 150 whip, more walks than strikeouts. In AA, a 174 whip, again, almost 2 base runners per inning pitched. When we go and we look at Panama and we go find Andy Otero, you can see the books aren't looking at the splits in this spot. And I guarantee you most people betting on this game are not looking at the splits. Otero, pretty solid, 342 ERA, 138 whip last year, but he doesn't throw the ball by a lot of guys, meaning that there's probably going to be some balls in play in this first inning. And he is relatively susceptible to the home run ball. So having Robert, having Moncada in the 2 and the 3 hole in this lineup, if they can put the ball in the gap and play a little bit of small ball, plus 195 to get a run in this first inning, I don't think is out of the question. Main concern is obviously just the park is very pitcher friendly which we have seen the last couple of days. But other than that, there's not a whole lot to like in this spot. I think the total is pretty sharply priced. I think we're going to see some bad pitching against some bad offense in this game. So it's really like it's hard to bet an over because I don't trust the bats. It's hard to bet the under because I don't trust the pitching. On the side, Panama has only one win in their entire history in this tournament, so hard to trust them. But again, Cuba, the pitching, very, very suspect going into this game, and the offense, even Robert Jr. and Moncada have not gotten things going. So a little bit hesitant to trust them, especially given the significant juice that you'd have to lay to grab Cuba in this spot. So personally going to stay away from this game, except for that first inning prop, which I mentioned, plus 195 for Cuba to score in the first inning. Going to take a very, very small stab on that at Bet365. If you guys like the content, if you find it valuable, please like, share, subscribe. Huge, huge, huge thank you for getting me to over 200 subscribers. I'm going to keep showing up, just sharing some information with everyone, hopefully making it more fun to watch sports, hopefully making it a little bit more profitable to bet on sports. Again, though, this is the World Baseball Classic. It's not the sharpest event in the world. There's a lot of variance, a lot of information that's hard to weight against itself. So we're taking our best shot. Hopefully we can cash a little bit of fun money in this Cuba Panama game. Until I see you guys next, good luck, and I'll see you tomorrow.